good day, good afternoon, good night. How you doing? This is MCM and you're listening to You're Probably Right. Today we are going to have a serious conversation. Well, maybe not a serious conversation, but there's going to be a serious talk happening here. Now, of course, I'm only doing the talking, but just stay tuned. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's MCM, and you're listening to You're Probably Right. So check it out. This episode's kind of interesting, and I know that my episodes tend to be long, and it's just me, and it's probably difficult to listen to one person for such a long time. So you know what some people do, and I'm sure a lot of you probably know that. You listen, you amp the speed up a little bit, maybe one times, maybe two times if you really, probably 1.5 they say, because I really, take a long time to get a thought out sometimes. And then it won't waste so much of your time, right? So then 35 minutes becomes 17, whatever, 17 and a half minutes. Maybe you got 17 and a half minutes, I don't know. And if you go 1.5, then you're probably down at about 11 or something like that, or whatever it is. My math sucks. Maybe it's 9.5. I don't even know. Whatever. This episode is called Breaking Free. Questions that lead to clarity in difficult relationships. And one thing I want to say is this is a Christian podcast. I always try to speak from that narrative, that belief. It's who I am. Now, as I said before, I'm not perfect, so sometimes my stuff may not line up exactly right, but my suggestion to anyone who would, discredit something that I had to say, although it is for entertainment purposes only, so maybe it's just all whatever, right? But for those of you who want to test, as they say, what I'm saying, measure it up against what the Bible says, okay? So open New Testament, Old Testament, depends. You have to really be well read as far as Christianity is concerned to break down some of the stuff in the Old Testament, because if you listen to the stuff that's in the Old Testament, they're saying eye for an eye, and Jesus, wasn't about eye for an eye. He was about forgiveness. He was about turning the other cheek in certain instances. So you'd have to really know what you're talking about. So either you speak to a pastor, if you know, a believer, or read the Bible. If you're a Christian, somebody doesn't have to break it down. You trust God that he will open the word to you. It just might take a while, especially if you're a new believer. But there's nothing wrong with hearing what somebody has to say. Someone who's living a life for Christ. And I had to do that. I don't even know if I said that properly. But the bottom line is that's where I'm coming from, but I might make mistakes, and this isn't a Christian podcast, so I'm not like breaking word every time I open my own mouth about something. So what I would say is someone who is going through a difficult time, especially a marriage. If you're in a marriage and you're dedicated to your spouse and you're there, I would always say the best thing is to work it out no matter what. Now, if you're being like physically harmed and, and there's children involved as well, and that's, a reality for them as well, then I'm not saying sit there and stay in it. But, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But definitely speak to a minister who is a Bible believing church, who's been there for a fair amount of time. And I would say it's probably more of a older gentleman than a young guy. But that's just my 2 cents. So yeah, that's about it. Kind of stuttering here. I don't know where to start, because this is kind of an open, important episode. And I think that I could probably speak to it by just literally speaking to it. I know some people prefer when I just grab a topic and I just go off. Whereas other people prefer when I answer questions that they might have had as well. Just because there's not another person here, if I just go on and on about a topic, then I tend to just go off on one part, or maybe something that's dear to my heart, or something that I can understand and fathom. Whereas when I answer the questions, then it's stuff that I'm not even thinking about. And again, I haven't researched my questions at all. I haven't really picked through them so I know what to say. I don't have anything. I just kind of do it off the cuff, which isn't really the best way, I suppose, if you wanted to really be thorough. But then if you're really being thorough, then these podcasts that are between 35 minutes and an hour could go to 2 hours very easily. Anyhow, I don't want to do that, and I'd probably get exhausted before that could happen. Anyhow, welcome to episode 178 of You're Probably Right. Today's episode is going to hit deep, I suppose. Sometimes we find ourselves in relationships where the lines between love and loyalty and manipulation get blurred. And when you're a single parent balancing responsibilities, trauma, and the desire for stability, it's easy to feel stuck. This episode isn't about giving advice or pointing fingers. It's about asking the right questions, the questions that can help you, find understanding and strength and direction when you're facing the toughest decisions. So let's talk. Anyhow, I just wanted to say also that the best place to find all of this information is in the Bible, straight up, without anybody's 2 cents. As I was telling somebody, I've listened to a lot of what Dr. Jordan Peterson has said on a lot of different topics, but I tend not to listen to him when it comes to the Bible. That's just my preference. I don't believe, where I started listening to this guy a little bit here and there, some of his lectures in Toronto. And at one point he was basically, I think he was an atheist. And then, fast forward 2-3 years later, all of a sudden he's teaching on the Bible. It's just, I believe he's qualified to speak about psychology, possibly, but not about the Bible. Not in that short amount of time. Not to me anyways. But anyway, here we go. So I'm just going to answer some questions, and I'm going to try to be as real as I can possibly be, from, my little understanding and knowledge and experience. Again, I'm not a professor, and I don't profess to be a professor of anything. I'm just a guy just talking about it on a podcast. On a different note, before I get into the questions, I really wish I could get to that spot. We're at 178 episodes now, and I really wish I could get to that spot where I could just say everything. But how you just, some people like to bare their souls to their best friends, their confidant, their spouse, their brother, sister, maybe mom, dad. And I don't know, something about just being able to talk to a person who doesn't know me, who can only judge the sense or nonsense that comes out of my mouth for as what it is, and who chooses to actually listen to what I'm saying. So therefore, you haven't been cornered into an area or cornered into a conversation after a hard day's work, or when you just woke up, or when you're just about to go to bed, or when you got to put dinner on, or whatever the case is. You literally decided to click to this episode for whatever reason. So I'm going to get into it. I just wish I could say more than I can generally say. But again, the problem is with that is I do respect other people's privacy. I do respect other people's lives. And, I don't think I should be able to just say anything. I know some people seemingly do, but I think everybody always has a level of holdback somewhere here and there. Anyhow, what does relationships truly bring in your life? Does it feel like a partner, or is it a partnership, or is it constant uphill climb where you're the only one pushing? And I think it really depends, because Sometimes you think you and someone, in a relationship are headed in the same direction. But what we often find, even in, work relationships or whatever it is, or business decisions and business relationships or whatever. I mean, work is business, but you know what I mean? Um, a lot of the time you're doing the same thing or seemingly pushing in the same direction, but not necessarily for the same outcome, you know? So I believe it should feel like a partnership. I feel that, there can be uphill battles to climb, but there should be some peaks and valleys, you know? And you shouldn't be the only person that's just pushing. If you're always pushing someone to do something that they should be doing on their own, then, it's time to look at the situation for what it is. If you're the one always being pulled to do something that you don't really want to do, but maybe for the sake of keeping it together, you're just being pushed all over the place. Or maybe you're pushing, trying to see, maybe I can just stand this person if they would get another job and make more money and bring more money so that I can have less to do, or I can have more money to spend, or I can take care of these bills without wondering or worrying at all. You never know. But it should be a partnership. It shouldn't be one person pulling or pushing. Number 2, do you feel emotionally safe with this person? Do you feel emotionally safe with this person? Are they going to tread on you? Are they going to stomp your life out? Are they going to, out of the blue, give you pointers on how to lose weight? Are they going to tell you that everything that you've done is wrong on a constant basis? Are they going to withhold nurture from you on purpose? I mean, some people are, a little bit lacking in that situation, whereas they don't know how to emotionally support somebody out of ignorance or, just not being taught or whatever it is. But when a person purposely tries to make you feel less than, a lot of the time, because they feel less than, but a lot of the time people just try to make you feel like you're not worthy of them giving you constant emotional support. When you're vulnerable or, honest, are you feeling respected? Or, are your feelings being dismissed, minimized, or weaponized against you? When you come out with a feeling finally, then the person all of a sudden starts using it on you regularly to try to tear you down. But it's a question you can only answer for yourself. Are your boundaries being respected? If you set a limit, whether it's emotional, physical, or otherwise, how does this person respond? Do they honor it or do they push against it? Emotionally, are you safe with this person? Are they taking you beyond your limits with physical work? And that could be anything. That could be someone who wants you to cut the grass every 3 days and your feet only have once a week. That could be someone who, wants you to totally push yourself to the limit, intimately or whatever it is, or whatever. But how does this person respond? Are they pushing you past those places that you can go safely? It's something you can only answer yourself. These are just questions I'm laying out that you got to kind of answer. You know what I mean? And it's cool if you're listening to this with a friend. because it's supposed to spark discussion. I'm not literally sitting here going to tell anybody what to do or what don't do. The only thing I'd tell you to do is pick up a Bible and read it. The only thing I would tell you to do is find a Bible believing church where you can be nurtured, where you can nurture, where you can be a part of something, where you can be a part of the family of God if you are a believer. Don't stay alone. How do you feel? This is the next question. Just bust right into it. How do you feel after spending time with this person? Do you feel like, oh, you got the warm and fuzzies, or do you feel like you have some questions to ask yourself, really? And even though you were maybe coming off of a narrative trying to answer or to argue, but does it make you often think if you're going in the right direction? Or does it make you feel like you need to second guess every decision you've ever made? Do you feel like the person's nurturing the person that you've been created to be? Or do you believe that this person is trying to change you into what they would like you to be? Just remember, when you recognize negative things about a person, when they're like embarrassing you in front of other people, when they're downplaying your hard work, when they downplay the assistance maybe you've given them, when you notice that a person is using you and they're the only person winning, you have to realize something, no? You can look at it. If you are always losing in the end of every situation, and this person always seems to get one more leg up on another step, if this person always seems to be stepping up and you feel like you're always being constantly pushed down, you got to think about what are you doing? Are you uplifted, or do you often feel drained, exhausted? Does this person literally put you to sleep because of the mental anguish or torture they put you through? Do you feel anxious or unsure about yourself more than you used to? These are warning signs. I'm just going to be honest with you. If you don't feel ever uplifted by this person, if you're a person that loves to laugh and they never make you laugh, ever, and it's not only because you're in some type of an attitude and you don't want them to make you laugh, or you don't like their humor, even though the stuff's funny, you try not to give them anything. If you feel drained every time you talk to this person, if you feel anxious every time you talk to this person, or unsure of yourself more than you used to, not for a good reason, it's time to think about it. Impact on your well-being. What has this relationship taught you about yourself? Has it brought out your strengths, or has it highlighted your insecurities, your doubts, your weaknesses? And are you feeling overwhelmed because, again, you just feel like you make every decision that's wrong now? If they're constantly making you second guess everything you do, remember, nobody's always right and nobody's ever always wrong. As they say, a clock that's broken still tells the right time 2 times a day. Get it? Broken clock sitting at 12. Well, when it comes 12 a.m., it's going to say the right time. When it comes 12 p.m., it's going to say the right time. The rest of it, well, it's going to be wrong. Are you sacrificing your mental health or your self-worth to maintain this relationship? Are you sacrificing your mental health? Do you find yourself crying once a week over this situation? Does this person make you feel less than you've ever felt before? How often do you hear a positive word? And not necessarily you're very handsome, you're very tall, you're very good looking, you're pretty, you're cute, I love your smile. Maybe not all that, but how often to say, like, I like your idea. I never looked at it that way. You're probably right. How often do you hear these things? What are you giving up to keep this person in your life? And is it worth the cost? You'd really have to look at it. Maybe it's costing you a relationship with your family. Maybe it's costing you a relationship with your kid, time with your kids. Maybe it's costing you your health. Maybe this person is not cool with you going to the gym because they think you have other motives out there. Maybe you have best friends, and because of this person, now you no longer talk to these best friends, and they're actually positive, maybe even believers in your life who lead towards guiding you in the right direction. Or they're people that you uplift and who need your support because they're headed in the right direction, but they need help. And there's so many other types of situations where you got to look at it and say, like, what am I sacrificing? Is it just your mental health? Is it that you just never feel good or okay? Is it that you never feel secure in any decision that you make? Are you like double second guessing yourself every time you make a decision because this person has been hammering home about your bad decision in the past, and maybe there's no definitive whether some of these things are even right or wrong. Maybe it's just something you've made, but of course, because they don't like it, it becomes wrong. Do you see yourself becoming a better version of you in this relationship? Are you more hardworking? Are you getting more done? Are you getting less done because you're wasting time communicating and arguing with this person? Are you becoming more understanding, more patient? Do you find yourself hurt more often? Is this partnership encouraging your growth? Or is it stifling your potential in just becoming a growth on you? If you have kids, what kind of example is this relationship setting for your children? If your kids were in this position, how would you advise them? Would you want them to tolerate the same behavior? I'm going to say that again. Let's say you're a guy and you well, you never know. But anyways, you're a guy and you're living with an abusive, or you've gotten a relationship with an abusive woman who puts you down all the time, and your kids are seeing this, or maybe they're not seeing it, but just say this is your situation. This person badmouths you every day. They do all kinds of stuff, maybe some suspect behavior. You're not really sure what's going on, or you are really sure what's going on, but you try to pretend that you don't know because you're just trying to keep everything together. Now, what I'm saying to you is if your child, your son, was in this same relationship with a person, and these things, manipulative behaviors are happening, they're taking all of your time. You're supposed to be sleeping, or you're supposed to be doing schoolwork, or you got to get up early and they got you on the phone till 2 a.m. or whatever, or making demands on your time, or how often you need to call or text or whatever it is. And then you flip it and say it's your kid going to this situation. What would you tell them? If you would tell them any different than what you're doing, it's probably something to think about. Next, how does this person support you as a parent? Are they helping you with the responsibilities of raising your children? Or are they adding to your load and becoming another child? How invested are they in this child that you're raising, or children that you're raising? Are they the father or the mother? Do you see them offering the care that they know how to offer? Is there room even for that? Do your kids take to this person like that so they can even offer it? Even if they're trying to offer it, the child has to be receptive. Just questions, but I know you got the answers. Are your children thriving in the environment? Are they spending more dinners alone? Are they putting themselves to sleep every night, whereas you used to tuck them in or read a bedtime story or pray with them? Are they getting help? Maybe you were giving homework help before, and now you do very little because you end up pining or discussing something with this person, or talking about this person to your friend because they're so baffling and difficult. How does this dynamic between you and your partner impact the overall atmosphere at your home, even if they don't live with you? Is it when they're happy, everybody's happy, we're all going to Disneyland and let's go get donuts at the donut shop? Or is it this person stuck in the mud, they become Eeyore from from Winnie the Pooh, and everybody's sad, I'm sad, you're sad, everybody's sad? And most of us don't even know why. Are you accepting treatment in this relationship that you wouldn't have accepted without your past trauma? I'll say that again. Are you accepting treatment in this relationship that you wouldn't have accepted in your past trauma, or in your past without the trauma? Are you now taking more, whereas before you'd be like, nope, not taking that, not taking that. Now all of a sudden you become, I don't want to say a beating stick, but just someone who all of a sudden has to be very, 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 thick-skinned, and, a lot to take. You can take a lot on. How much of your tolerance is tied to the old wounds rather than the current realities? Some of us have been put down so low that we wouldn't even know a smile if they was smiling right at you. Or if somebody gives you a compliment, you can't even take that compliment because you're so jaded in your thoughts and figuring that there's always an ulterior motive when someone compliments me. Or the person, definitely just trying to get something. Ulterior motive, same way, but you don't even want to hear certain words, maybe because somebody used to always say that to you, and now this person has to be lying too because you believe that last person was lying, or those last people were lying. Have you worked through your own healing, or are you trying to heal within this relationship? Are you trying to replace somebody? Are you trying to replace a feeling, a duty, a routine? Are you trying to find a routine with this person? Can you separate what, I don't know how to put this. Can you separate what's yours to work on versus what the responsibility of your partner is? Or does it feel like every responsibility is yours? Or do you feel like all the responsibility to change and to make things better is that person's? Are you staying out of loyalty to a commitment, or because you truly see potential in this relationship? Maybe that doesn't make any sense. Are you staying out of loyalty to a commitment? In other words, you're just staying because of whatever, some situation happened between you two. And now, because maybe certain things have transpired, do you believe that therefore you own me? Not even a person who is married, or not even a person who has made that commitment and, has the ring and signed the nuptials, whatever it is, and gone through the ceremony. You're just there because you agreed to date this person, or you decided to court this person, and therefore you're just there because you've got to courtship, and now you just might as well just follow it all the way through. It's called courtship for a reason. Now, I can honestly tell you I'm not big on dating. I've never just decided to go on dates. That's never been my thing. I know a lot of people do, and sadly, I think many of the dates go way too far. And I think a lot of commitment comes out of some of these too far situations. Whereas if there was more thought, more planning, then some of these bad relationships that have ended wouldn't have started to begin with. So are you loyal to a commitment? Or because you truly see potential in an actual relationship and that's why you're loyal? Has there been shifts in the right direction? Is this about what the relationship could be, or what it actually is right now? Are you looking for long term? Are you looking for a bridge to the next situation? What would life look like if you decided to walk away or stay? What would you gain if you walked away? And what would you lose if you walked away? How do you think you would feel after some time has passed? Think you'd be okay? Are you the person that really has a hard time moving on? Are you a person who always likes to leave the door open to past, parishioners? What would it take for you to feel secure? More money? Someone who gives undying love or affection? What would make you feel happy in this relationship? If you could wave a magical wand, as they say, what would need to change? What brings you to tears? And do you realistically believe those changes are actually possible? How are you processing things in a logical manner, I wonder, for you to even answer the last question? And lastly, because this is a short one, even though we're getting to 35 minutes somehow, do you believe you deserve better? Some of us don't really think we do. And I know that, we're a sinner saved by grace for us who believe in Jesus. And I don't believe we are worthy of anything. I believe that we are sinners. We are born sinners, shaped in iniquity. But if you know you're a hardworking person, if you know that the Lord died for your sins, and you are a believer, you believe that he died a substitutionary death, he rose again, he's coming back for the believers again, and all that. I'm not saying that you're supposed to believe that, you're supposed to say, money cometh, and you got $1 million. So it's not that, like, not what you deserve like that. Like, people think they deserve that money. You imagine people think that they deserve these amazing things. You just read the story of what are the stories of the apostles, the followers of Jesus, and think about how many of them died a nice death. Research it, or you can look at my old episodes. If someone you loved were in your shoes, right? What would you tell them about their worth and what they should accept? Are you a person who is accustomed to people telling you that you're smart? Are you a person who is accustomed to people pointing out good things you do, or your conscientious ways, or your hardworking ways, or your bright smile and how it brightens up the day? Or thank you for working on this or that? Like, do you get those things? Do you hear those things? Do you see those things? Staying loyal, being a good partner, and pushing through challenges are for sure admirable traits. Or admirable. But when you're in a situation that's costing you your peace, your self-worth, and your well-being, if you're in danger of being hit, you have to stop and ask yourself, at what cost? My health, my mental, my soul, my children, my family, my friends, my relationship, my work, my sleep, my routines, my hobbies, my educational advancement. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is walk away. Why? Because you're going to lose something for a time, whatever it is. Maybe you're going to lose conversation. Maybe you're going to lose a partnership. Maybe you're just going to lose a person, a very important person, for whatever reason. But it's also one of the bravest things you can do. Remember, you're probably right if you think you deserve better in some respects. But who am I to judge? Anyhow, if you went through these questions and you don't really know, or you just kind of listened, you didn't really take stock, maybe you listen to this episode again, maybe with a friend, and pause it on the questions and maybe really try to hash it out. Anyhow, for you're probably right, this is MCM, and I hope you learned something here. Take care. Peace out. Oh yeah, before I go, remember, if you have any questions you want to ask, or maybe on a topic that you want me to talk about, you can email me at yprpodcast@gmail.com. Take care. Hey, come check out You Probably Right podcast. Society is getting more unpredictable every day, but at the same time, predictable in its unpredictability. Say that 4 times real fast. Come with me as I attempt to find clarity in all the fog while staying way outside the box and kicking the box way down the road with my size 12 dogs. I use the Bible, experience, education, fortune, misfortune, life's lessons, life's mistakes to sort through all the mess. I talk about news, God, God, self-help, sports, sickness, health, music, parenting, love, humbleness, hurt, pain, joy, and all the things that might make you say, I never thought of it that way. Hopefully, anyway. Also, I take a stab at answering tough and not so tough questions, and all the while understand that, listen, sometimes you end up in the hot seat and there's no thermostat. Well, that's how it is here. And because there's no topic, well, very few topics off the table. Torontonians will understand that Doug Ford reference there. Hopefully the podcast will be helpful and uplifting. And hey, maybe you'll find your own private Idaho here somewhere. Hope to see you soon.